Hello everybody and welcome back to Echocraft. Yes, we actually took the time to finish the computer. So we made the screen, which is obviously the only other piece I think that we actually need. So here is the completed setup. We have the keyboard that we made, and then we have the monitor. So as you can see, it's nothing too terribly complex, pretty simple, but I like it. I think it looks good. So that is done, and what we really need to do is set up a shop so that we can sell that, but we will get to that a little bit later. For now, let's take a look at what I've done with the inn. As you can see, I've made it all the way to the second floor and the roof, and did some decorating on the exterior, made it prettier, added in some planks to just kind of give it some extra texture and not make it so flat. And then I used some glazed terracotta to try and break up the amount of space that was here in orange. It didn't look good. Same with these little roofs above the windows. That just kind of broke up that extra large section there and made it match a little bit better with the top. So I like that. I think it looks good. The interior, not much has actually changed here from what I already showed. I added some doors, and that's about it. I mean, the interior is the interior. I still need to decorate it, which we will get to at some point. But yeah, mostly I was focused on the exterior for this, trying to make that look good and make it appealing, because at least then it looks good for the base area. Even if I never make any function out of it, it at least has some character. So the other thing that I did was on the roof, I wanted to add some like AC units. So I went ahead and I think it looked better doing blast furnaces, because I tried some just stone and stuff, but I kind of like this better, a little bit more industrial look. So this is just a design that I see all the time on different builds. I can't tell you who I'm pulling this idea from, but basically these rails on top of 4 blocks kind of makes it look like AC units. So, and then sinking them into the ground, because I wanted all of this to be spawn proof without having to put a whole bunch of lights. So I think that looks pretty good, adds a lot of character. I may add some more up top here. Obviously I don't have a whole lot of room, but this is this could still take something. The other thing that I was working on recently is over here, I wanted to start clearing out some of the trees, pull them back a little bit. So expose the stone side of the island. And I probably need to pull those back a little bit more. And then I need to do some terraforming to shape this up. I already filled in a few gaps and whatnot. This whole section here, I believe, was gravel or something else. And I had dug that out. I forget exactly what it was, but I dug it out because I didn't want all that there. So I'm going to be building this back up with stone, maybe adding some character to it if I can think of how to do that. But yeah, I have some plans over here, and this is where I want to work next. So this is the section that I need to work on. Other than that, we spent some time with Weasel, and we went into the deep dark and had a little bit of fun there. So this was his first time going into the deep dark, and I had a few tips for him. So the biggest advice that I have is if you do summon the warden, don't run. Just sneak away as quickly as you can. Because if you run, you'll make noise. If you make noise, he'll come after you.
Gotcha.
And ladders are not your friend.
Yeah, I know he's got the little sonic boom thing. Is that why?
Well, it's ladders are noise. Like every time. So then basically all we're doing is, well, actually this time we kind of do want to go up there.
Don't go up this ladder. Proceeds to go up ladder.
Well, you know. Actually, that didn't set anything off when I was sneaking doing that. Interesting. Yeah. As you can see, I was really good at following my own advice, and always so super careful too. Check out what happened next.
So I know there's like redstone rooms and stuff.
Oh no!
Oh, what was that?
So, did you see where I am?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. So, there's a trap up here. This is a room that I didn't know existed until I found it last time. And I didn't see the plates until I was right here. And
note blocks.
These are gonna go off again, so give me a second.
Okay. Ooh. That is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. This is actually an ice house.
Really?
Yeah. So down underneath of all of this is ice. You can kind of see some of it covered in skull. Oh, okay.
And there we go.
Yeah, we can go this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our adventure was off to a great start, summoning a warden so early, and that was definitely not the only warden that we had.
Where are you at? I don't see you.
Oh no, I'm in darkness now.
Oh no. How long do they stay out?
Depends on if they have a target, and he's
Right now he
smelling
does.
at me.
I really want that streaker.
I'm gonna have a problem here in a second. Because I can't get out of darkness.
Uh-oh.
Oh, good. I can see again. Okay, let's see. What have I got around me?
Oops.
Well, that was... Of course you're heading my way.
And I'm bringing a friend.
I heard. Because I was working on disarming this chest right over here, and you're bringing a friend.
Just the sheer irony in your voice, I heard. Where's he at? Where's he at? Ah! I turned the corner and there he was. I think my heart just stopped.
And even if we did run away multiple times from those wardens, we did eventually make it back to looting the ice house. Or at least Weasel did.
Okay, what's the lever do?
The lever?
Yeah, and the
oh,
room
opens
down here.
the trapdoor?
Oh.
That is a whole lot of... not much. Okay.
Alright, so... Really? All it was ice and snowballs. You knew that, didn't you?
I did not know for sure, because I've only found it once. And though I really wasn't sure what was in that ice house, I do remember that all I got was ice, snow, maybe some fish from it. So, yeah, I suspected, but I really didn't know. Anyway, sometime after that, I feel he still found a way of getting revenge, even if not intentional. Well, now he's nearly beneath me.
Ooh.
And I'm in darkness.
You're at the edge.
Oh, I'm crouching. I'm not falling off.
Okay.
You know, some of those snowballs would be a lot of fun right now.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Do you see him?
No. I don't know what he's after.
I don't either, and that's what's scaring me. Oh, he's after me.
Uh-oh.
Where the heck did I just land?
I don't know. You went off to my right and disappeared.
Somehow I made it up on the cave. Oh!
Oh!
Now, while the majority of the wardens that were summoned were indeed done by Weasel, I did end up summoning at least a few.
Where has their stuff gone now?
Oop, that was a mistake.
Uh-oh. There it is.
Yeah, and he's right beside me. He spawned on me. That adventure was definitely a lot of fun, even with the warden spawning right beside me towards the end there. And I would definitely do that again and highly recommend anybody who hasn't been able to explore the Deep Dark. Go ahead and do that for yourself. In the meantime, I have been busy trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a shop, and in planning, have realized that I probably am going to be doing 2 shops, and I'm going to go ahead and build in this area here. So we need to do a little bit of clearing out, which is going to probably include removal of these cactus right here and all this grass, simply because we just need a whole bunch of space. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. I'm going to dig down. This is going to be a multi-level build, and we're going to have one entrance down probably that section, and then the other entrance or entrances will be up here at this level. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and once I have a little bit built of what I'm going to be doing, I'll bring you back and you can see what I've been busy with. Well, here we go. This is the first slice of the machine that I've been working on. This is a mud making machine. So I wanted to improve the design I had previously, and this one is just a little bit more compact and quite a bit more modular than the last one. So the way this machine was actually designed is starting from the top up here downward. So I kept digging down, getting deeper, trying to get the circuitry all in place. So the way that it's going to work is the blocks are going to be fed in through the modular system. We're going to have multiple modules, multiple slices of this machine here going this way. I'm going to do 8. That way I can do perfectly a full stack of dirt, converting that. And so basically all the blocks are going to feed in, and when they get here, we're going to have an observer right here. And when that observer sees the block, it's going to basically fire what I'm calling the engine piece. And that's going to send a signal that's going to go through this redstone, which will end up facing this way and hitting every one of these blocks here. Now, when it hits this block here, it's going to fire this dispenser and is going to turn the dirt into mud. So that's the first step. The signal then continues over here, lights this lamp, which will trigger this observer, which will toggle this light off briefly. And when that signal turns off, because it's just a single pulse, that light will turn off again, which will turn this light back on. So we just get one single pulse out of this without any double pulses coming through. And we have 2 comparators on both sides. The first one is going to hit this delayed repeater. And this one basically just gives it enough time for that to finish doing its work of turning the dirt into mud. Then it's going to pull that empty bottle. Right here we have the next bottle that's in there. And this entire system, each slice runs on 3 bottles only. So I don't have to have stacks and stacks of these things. So here is the empty bottle loaded and ready to go. So when this fires, it's going to drop the empty bottle, pull in the next one. And then when it repowers, it fires this dispenser. And this dispenser is aimed at this waterlogged mangrove roots. That's going to fill the water bottle. And you can see it's empty right now. And when that gets filled, then it's ready for reuse in the system. So pretty quick, empty, fill, and then it's ready to be reused. Over here, when this light turns back on, this one will actually turn off. Then this light turns off. So each cycle will toggle these 2 lights on and off, which basically the single pulse here is enough to trigger this torch through this repeater to hit this this item hopper, which will pull the filled bottle from here down into here. And while it does that, it will also push this water bottle here into this dropper here. So this dropper at the bottom then has a comparator connected to it. So when it gets an item, it's going to send a pulse here, which is going to activate this note block, which I have a carpet on top to keep it silent. This observer will see that, put a pulse into here, and the item will shoot from here all the way up to the top. It goes into this hopper here, and this hopper is not locked at all, so it will immediately feed right back into this dispenser. So just like that, we have an entire loop of the system, and that loop will allow the 3 bottles to do their entire circuit. So let's go ahead and do a quick simulation, and hopefully everything works. It should. So we're going to put this here. No, I don't want that, because if this is not an observer, the signal is going to be too long. So what we'll do here is knock out this block, and we'll just put that there, put that against it. Okay, that'll give us the single pulse. So this is going to simulate the entire system going through. So then let's take a dirt block. We'll put that there. And let's go ahead and simulate that pulse. So when we break this out, we'll hear all the systems going off, and this will turn into mud. And just like that, everything just cycled through. And so we should be able to take this block back. And we have a filled water bottle here. And if we head back down, we should see an empty one here and a filled one here. So 3 bottles all the way through the system every time that fires, just single pulse into the system. So the way I'm setting this up is to be able to take different configurations of modules or systems. So this slice does not have to work with the engine that I designed. Somebody could design something completely different and throw it on there, as well as the system that I'm going to use to pull the block out of here and kind of line it up and get it ready for use can also be used in a separate system. So if somebody's using TNT, this could be pulling and pushing and sending it off where it needs to go, where the TNT will explode. But I'm going to do one where it's just going to stack it up, and once we have a stack, we just take a shovel and go ahead and dig it out. It's not too terribly much work, I don't think. So that's the system that I'm going with. So I'm going to go ahead and build the rest of these modules, all 8 of them, right in line. They're all the same, nothing changes between them. And, oh yeah, as you can see, this is now off. So if I run that system again, we will see that everything will flip back around. And I actually kind of prefer it that way, although it's not going to matter because if somebody else uses the system, it's just going to do what it does. All right, so we'll just go ahead and put that there, bust that, and there we go. And the major reason to pull the block and push it out of here is to make sure that it doesn't hit this hopper. To get around this, we could probably just put a composter right here, which will also make sure that that is not causing any additional lag. But for now, we're just going to leave it because I may have, as I finish designing everything, because not all of this is designed, I may need that space anyway. So we'll just go with that. So let me continue this, and I will show you what it looks like when all the slices are in. All right, and there it is in short order. We've got all 8 modules in place, and that means everything is ready to go. We're all completely stocked up and ready to actually do work. Now we just need to dig out space and put in the engine. So that's what I'm going to do next. And to load all of these, I ended up just kind of sneaking, not into there. So I entered into fly mode and kind of just crept along underneath there and put 3 empty bottles in each one of those hoppers, and it only releases 1 at a time. So in doing that, then I just have to cycle the system a few times, and by the time we get to the 3rd cycle, we're actually making mud. So that's how I got that all loaded up without having to fill all the bottles. So all in all, 24 bottles in this system. So not too shabby. And I think so long as nothing goes wrong, it should all just keep working. So I'm going to go ahead and gather the information I need, and then I will get the engine in place. And we'll be able to see what happens when we actually load this up and fill in that last block there. So hang in there with me, and we will have this in shortly. And here we go. We've got the engine in place. We've got our observer that is pointing into obsidian block, and this is to prevent any mud or any dirt that's being pushed into the system from moving this block here. So we're using the obsidian to kind of stop that, and then we'll take the signal from that. When the block comes here, it'll trigger that. The signal will go here, and it pulls it this way, throws it into this block, which then is detected by that redstone, and activates this piston, but not before the signal makes it out of this repeater and this repeater. Now this repeater is delayed and will continue the signal on in the engine, but this piston here is just a regular piston. We'll push this block out of the way, and this prevents any additional pulses from this observer, which will happen when the mud turns, when the mud is moved out of the way. And that should be it. So I think it would have been 3 pulses are trying to go through this system, but we just want that first one. So this gets pushed up out of the way. The signal goes this direction along this path, which hits these 2 repeaters, and these are here to prevent misfiring of the system. This one is to prevent the redstone from picking up the signal from this obsidian, and this one is actually to provide us with the strongest signal that we can send that way. So if I wanted this system to go out as far as the push limit, or depending on what I'm doing, just as far as I want it to go, I need to make sure that I've got a good signal going through. And then on this delayed side here, we have maximum delay on all of the repeaters here, and that's to make sure that we have enough time. So this is just climbing up a spiral here and hitting a repeater all the way up to the top. And this top block here is just receiving the signal that will power this regular piston. And this piston here, again not sticky, is just going to push this block right back into place. So this is the final reset. We're ready to go again. So the next time that observer gets triggered, it will kick off the system one more time. Now, we don't want to kick off the system when there aren't blocks there or dirt blocks there, because then we will lose water bottle. We'll lose our water bottles, and that is just not going to be very fun. So hopefully all we get is dirt moving into the system. If we get something other than dirt, well, we may have to come in and clean up the bottle situation, but that's okay. Pretty easy fix. Just put in 3 empty bottles and then try and cycle through the system a few times, and that should do it. Now the next piece that we want to do is going to be the pistons. This is going to be the the feed belt, I guess we could call it. We're going to put some sticky pistons above this section here, so it's going to reach down, pull the blocks up, and we're going to have some regular pistons right here that are then going to push the mud blocks that way. And we can push those out up into our push limit, but we're going to I think we're going to go 9 blocks, and the reason we're doing that is because I anticipate on this section here at about this level, we're going to leave just 8 mud blocks in place, and those are just going to be there so that we can get beyond these hoppers and then get to a system that could push the blocks then up and produce a stack, so that when we dig them all up, we can have a full 8x8x8 cube. So that's the plan of how we're doing this design. So let me go ahead and get the piston feed in place, and I will show you that as soon as it's done. And here's our piston conveyor. As you can see, we've got the sticky pistons on top so that we pull the mud block up, and then the regular pistons right here in the middle, which are going to push them out this direction. And to power this, what we are doing is we are watching this repeater right here, which is the one that fires this line of redstone, which triggers the dispensers that turn the dirt into mud. And then once those fire, what we are doing is we are grabbing the signal right here, which is pulling it up and down to 2 repeaters. One has a 1-tick delay, the other has a 2-tick delay. I think that's how it works. And this one will tell the sticky pistons to fire, and then shortly after it will tell the regular pistons to fire. And the reason we have the delays on all of these is to make sure that the dispensers had an opportunity to actually dispense the liquid into the dirt so that we have mud and we're not pulling up dirt blocks. So this has worked in testing, and I can go ahead and show you that in action. Let me just grab some dirt. And if everything works well, I'm going to get mud in my face. So let's go ahead and put these down. And then once we do this, all the magic should happen. And just like that, I got mud in my face. So there we have it, one whole line of mud. The system is completely reset, ready to go. And in here we should see bottles ready to go. So there we are. That is what I have designed so far of the system. The last piece I now need to do is going to prevent me from getting mud in the face. So I need to create the feed right here. And this is where you're going to set the dirt, and the dirt's going to get pushed all the way through the system and get fired. And if we do it right, we should also have a proper reset mechanism so that when it pulls the mud up, it starts allowing the dirt to flow through. So we want to be able to stop the person from putting more dirt into the system, mostly because it's not going to go. And when that dirt is sitting there in front of the piston that's going to be pushing it in, so when that dirt's getting pushed into the system, it's going to allow one more piece of dirt that's just going to be sitting there, but we need to activate it. So if we watch this line here, when that fires, we'll need a... No, I think we should actually go off the second line. So we want to make sure that it has completed its task of pulling the mud up before we allow, or we try to push back into the system. So I think we'll grab off of this line here, the signal, and we will use that to then reset or add an extra push to the piston, which will allow us then to continue feeding it. So there should be just a slight delay in placing blocks, and then so you can just keep holding down the key and it should just keep feeding in. So let me get that in place, and then we can take a look at the finished system, or functional system. I guess I still need to handle the amount of mud that's going to be coming out that I then want to stack up, but we're going to do this part next. All right, and we've completed the final phase of this working mud farm. So what I've got here is a basic loading zone that'll push it into the space where we're going to have the dispensers turning the dirt into mud. So we put an obsidian block here. That's just in case we have to dig something out, we have something secure that's not going to just break. Above that, we have the scaffold. Now, the scaffold, what it's going to do is as soon as a block is underneath of it, it's going to change state, which the observer is going to see, which is going to trigger this block right here. And underneath this block, we have a note block, which when we have that configuration, will actually allow this piston to activate. So once you place a block, that piston activates, pushes the block in. And then when the system goes and fires, we've gone off on this signal here that pushes the blocks out. So when this arrives, we have a delay here, which will then trigger this block again and put an extra pulse in to push that piston when the lane is clear. So let's go ahead and just put a few blocks in and we can see what that does. So slight delay there as it had all 8 blocks that it needed, and then it just keeps going. So you can just hold down right click and away it goes. And then when we are done, that shouldn't be there. Oh, I think that's a mistake from before. All right, so long as we don't have any more mud hiding in any of these, and I went ahead and added the composters, that should prevent us from picking up any more mud blocks. But let me just double check the system and make sure there's nothing else in here. there's a problem. That means down below we should have... we should have an extra water bottle somewhere. Let me... There it is. Let me double check and make sure that we don't have a missing empty bottle. Okay, I think we're good. So we just need to put this bottle back up top. Which one was that? That was this one. Okay. So what happened is we didn't have the right block in place to actually, or it spit out the wrong block, and then we ended up with 2 water bottles. And so when it went to refill, then it spit one out. So I think we're good now. So let's just finish with this stack of blocks here that I've got, just to make sure that the system is able to complete all the necessary conversions and we don't have another error somewhere in there. So far, okay. And then we went ahead and put in the platform that pushes the blocks up. So when we get a full 8 rows here, we detect that, and we have just a sticky piston switch here so that we don't get double pulses, and that just allows us to push the blocks up so that we can get a full stack of them. So let me just check once again, make sure that all water bottles are in place. Okay, I think we're actually good. So yeah, aside from having an extra block in there from testing, this looks like it's all set and good to go. Now, I wanted to build the shops, but the exteriors are simply going to take too long, and this episode is already long enough. So I'm going to call it a day here, and I want to thank you all for joining me. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit the like button, maybe add a comment, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll catch you next time. Goodbye, everybody.